Hello Pisces, and welcome to my channel GreenLion Goddess Tarot. Welcome to the week. We've got lots happening this week. We've got Mars moving into Gemini. Gemini is not moving into Mars, but Mars is moving into Gemini for a little 8-month period, which is actually a really long time, but it's because it's going through a whole retrograde cycle. So it's interesting that you've got Write and Stay Focused coming in, because Gemini is the sign of writing. And so Mars is the planet of wanting you to kind of do things, motivated, take action. So write and stay focused. It's pretty specific. So I feel like, there's possibly a lot going on inside your mind, a lot of things whirling around, maybe ideas, lots of new ideas that are coming through, wanting to start new things. So that's where I feel like, it really is potentially about organizing some of that as well, or at least writing it down so that you can come back to it later. So that's something but for some of you, this is creative writing, which could be really amazing coming through. We've also got as your main theme or situation, the Four of Crystals, control and security. Okay, so I feel like, it's interesting. I feel like you're very much in control. It feels like a very creative week, to be honest, Pisces, for you. But it's very much like you're in control of this, which is fascinating. The Four of Crystals is the equivalent of the Four of Pentacles. So this is where you're looking at the foundations of some things in your life. You might be getting some ideas around that as well, and about what it is that you want to build upon, or whether you want to go back and rebuild those foundations and work with them. So, interesting, because this is the beaver. The beaver builds, having trouble speaking today, Pisces. The beaver builds structures, okay? So around how things are flowing, water is something that feels like it's hard to kind of control water, but it's building some structures. And then if those structures don't work, or they fall down, it builds them again. So it's this master builder energy of looking at the structures in your life, and then, going through this it's like the architect. It's like the architect of your life. Who is the architect of your life? Well, the answer is you, absolutely, with this Four of Crystals energy. But you may be able to kind of go, well, maybe I want to redesign this. Maybe something else is going to come in that works better, or maybe it's like I love that foundation and I want to build upon it. So when we talk about foundations, this could be anything in your life when it comes to foundations of a creative project, foundations of your life in terms of a bigger picture energy, foundations of your career, your home, anything that could be coming in. So I feel like you are potentially looking at the bigger picture stuff, but it's also in a very creative way, which is interesting. So let's see what's shifting this week. We've got Sword, King, Aquarius, Crown. I think what you're shifting is potentially some of the ideas that you're working on, some of the decisions that you've been making, some of the strategies and plans. I feel like you're kind of thinking, I might want to do something a bit differently with this Sword, Queen, Aquarius, Crown. You might be thinking a little bit outside the box. So this could be very, I've just got words, genius. Like this could be one of those genius weeks where you come up with these brilliant ideas and plans and like, oh, I didn't think of that before, but now I'm so glad. What a brilliant idea. So definitely thinking outside the box, I would say, with that Sword, King energy coming in. What else is shifting? Sword 5, Uranus, Aquarius, and Sword, Ace, Air. Now, I feel like there's a lot of progressive ideas that you're working with here, a lot of element of air. So you might be dealing with, there's a rebelliousness to this, okay? So you might come up against control issues, or that, somebody that is trying to kind of squash this idea. I kind of feel like you're coming up with all these lovely progressive ideas, and you're up against an energy that kind of is like, it's like the government body or the government, the established order of some sort that says, no, you cannot have these ideas. So whether this is somebody that you're dealing with that disagrees with some ideas, it could cause some conflict, some new ideas that you've got coming in, whether this is external, like you're bouncing off other people, or whether it's your own internal energy as well. But it still feels like with the Sword Ace that you've got some brilliant ideas coming through. So believe in them. Believe in your ideas this week. So, okay, interesting, because I feel like, yeah, it's very much the established order versus thinking outside the box energy, and how does that all fit into your life at this moment in time. So what do you need? We've got the Chariot, okay, coming through. The Chariot is where you're pulling two different energies that seemingly are going in different directions into one single focus. It's a very successful and focused energy. So this is where I'm kind of getting there's like lots of, like I said, this could be either two parts of you that are going different directions, or it could be you and somebody else where it's like, let's just kind of try and get on the same page and focus in. So the Chariot, sheer willpower, sheer determination will get you there with this. But yeah, I do feel like you're pulling two energies into one single focus, which is really fantastic. But it is going to require some effort on your behalf to do that. So let's see what's coming towards you that you may or may not know about this week with this concerted effort of staying focused and potentially like writing. We've got the World. Okay, completion. Okay, if there's something you really need to complete, then this is like keeping you on the straight and narrow, where it's like it's helping you complete and finish something. Now, there may be that there is all these other ideas that are pulling you off into a different direction as well. So it's like, you know, maybe there's something that just needs to get done this week, but there's all these other things that are going, but I want to think about this over here, and I've got this great idea over there, and I want to do this. And it's kind of like, so another part of you saying, need to focus and finish this. Now, for some of you who are writing, like quite literally are writers, this is where it's kind of like, you know, where you can come across a creative block, and there's a part of you that wants to rebel and go, I don't want to sit down and do this every day. But there's another part of you that says, if you want to finish this and have a finished product and have a book at the end of this, you have to. And then it's this, again, this kind of fight between you and this other part of you, or you and somebody else, where it's like you kind of know what needs to happen, but at the same time there's a part of you rebelling because perhaps you're already thinking about a second book, or you've got another brilliant idea over here, or you just want to kind of rebel in some way. So it's keeping you on the straight and narrow, though, Pisces, to get something across the line. But it's also honour that brilliance that's also there as well, because that's going to need somewhere to go. So interesting. And the Gemini energy is where there's potentially two different things happening here. So it's kind of like, you know, wanting to start something new, but there's something established that you have to still work on and complete. So consequences, the Seven of Pentacles, growth, okay, getting outside of your comfort zone, bringing in growth, a sense of achievement. So a sense of achievement and completion this week, which is really great. Maybe you're finally finishing that thing that you've put on the back burner, or that you've been struggling to finish. And so this is a great opportunity this week to work with this energy to do that. So major external factors coming through, the Death card. Okay, this is the card of a huge transformation. Okay, so there's a lot of things changing at this moment in time, a lot of external things that are kind of going through huge transformations and transitions in your world, or people, or even the world in general, if you look at it that way. So it is very much like the outside world could seem like there's just something is... This is a huge ending, the Death card, the ending of a cycle, the culling, letting go of an old cycle here. So it's kind of interesting, because I feel like what's happening in the external world is being mirrored back to this completion here, the thing that you're completing with a sense of achievement here. But it's kind of might feel like there's uncertainty in the external world, which is why you kind of wanting to remain in control in what it is that you can complete and do here this week as well, which is interesting. And it may be those things are influencing it. Maybe you're writing about it, or maybe that's, you know, the change, big world changes that are going on, or transformational energies that are going on is something that is influencing what you're going through as well. So yeah, fantastic. And so let's look at the blessings of the week. We've got the Moon card. Okay, this is your card, Pisces. This is the card of the major arcana for Pisces. And the Moon card is where it's really, the blessing is to trust your intuition, that trust that sometimes the chaos, the confusion, feeling a bit lost or in a fog actually can seem like it's almost sometimes you need to go into that fog to allow some things to rest to not know exactly where something's going and to be surprised where you end up landing with something. So it's almost like letting go of expectations with the moon card and just stepping into the fog and going, I don't need to know everything, but I just need to know that I'm being intuitively guided. So it's kind of a fascinating energy, but the moon card is you as well, you know, coming back to a part of you and just trusting your intuition with something, trusting that you're being led through some bigger energies that feel potentially confusing or you're not sure where everything's going. And so, yeah, it's almost like this is a blessing. This is a blessing. Because it's like you don't want to know that A equals B equals C and that we're going and heading in this direction, because sometimes that can put too many limitations on another outcome that the universe might have for you that might be something that you hadn't thought of or something unexpected, but it thinks is potentially what you need. So, yeah, interesting. But to go into the fog or the sense of not knowing does take a lot of courage to do that, but that's one of the greatest blessings that are coming through for the week, interestingly. So let's look at where to next or potential outcome. Okay, where to next? We've got the Devil. Okay, so the Devil card can be very ambitious. It can also be where you feel a little bit stuck. So I'm going to pull another card, the Seven of Swords. So interestingly, the universe is gifting you with the perspective of knowing where you're feeling really stuck in this world and where potentially some fear-based things have been holding you back. But it's also giving you the clear perspective, which is what all this air is up here with the Sword King, the Sword Ace, of knowing how to get out of that as well. I've been able to move out of, and that's where the Seven of Swords is the evaluation, the rebuilding, building new structures around where you've potentially got very, very stuck. And that's why it's kind of hard to say. I mean, you end up as the Emperor, which is, taking control and stepping into action with something and being really successful. But it's almost like if you knew when you went into this fog that you were going to meet the Devil there, something that was like a big block, something that was keeping you very stuck, or something that was potentially a fear block of some sort, you potentially might not go into it. But this is actually a really positive energy in a way, because it's showing you the solution as well. So it's almost like trust your intuition, trust where you are being guided, because even though there may be an uncomfortable energy around it, it's the thing that's actually going to free you. So it's almost like facing your fears here, Pisces, facing your fears, and there's a great reward and blessing that comes through with that, which is fascinating. So yeah, interesting. Okay, so let's pull a card about the best way to manage or make the most of this energy. And we've got the Butterfly. The Butterfly is going into the cocoon, which is going into that moon energy. And that can actually be around your home as well. Maybe you just feel like a bit of a homebody. Maybe you just want to remain at home for a little while, to the point where you're starting to feel a bit stuck. But the cocoon, I feel like, the death, it's this journey of going into a cocoon space. And it feels, but then at some point, you're going to be like the butterfly when the time is right. This is the card of transformation, and that's where the Death card is leading you. These are the major external factors. Something's outside of you is leading you into this transformative journey, which you don't know where it's going to go. Potentially may seem a little bit scary, but at the same time, it's transformative with this butterfly energy. So, and this Seven of Swords character does get out. It does get out of that energy. So, yeah, the butterfly, it's, a very deep transformation that's occurring here, which is fascinating. But starts with, that's why writing, staying focused could be really great. And looking at, there's things that you almost need to finish up, or like quite literally concrete things that you need to finish before you're going into this deep transformation, which is interesting. So, and the universe is kind of giving you a little bit of a push or helping you do that this week, whatever it is that you actually need to finish. So in order to kind of transition into this big energy that's around you. So, and yeah, part of that is that, you are being hit with these brilliant ideas and ways to think outside the box, ways to restructure your world and your life. So there's just big energies happening here for you, Pisces. So let's look at this. Now, this is your affirmation card. It says, I experience love wherever I go. Love is everywhere and I am loving and lovable. Loving people fill my life and I find myself easily expressing love to others. Now, that's kind of fascinating because Venus is coming in trining Chiron, which represents your wounds. It's also trining Jupiter, which in both of these planets are in Aries, which is represented by the Emperor, which is about asserting yourself, about doing things on your own terms, being really independent. And so it's Venus is wanting to send you love this week, sending you love to a potential wound, something that's been blocking you here. And it's kind of trusting that you're going to a place where you're going to receive a lot of love and compassion, where some wounds can be healed, where you can be freed from it, which is really beautiful. And that's what the Jupiter energy wants to expand something. So Venus is coming in healing, sending some healing love to something that's wounding you, and then creating the space for something new to expand that previously you may not have been able to step into because of this block. And that's what we're seeing here with the Devil. You're overcoming or moving past this in some way. But it all feels like it feels like it's all happening inside your mind. But this is saying it's happening in your heart as well. But it just feels a bit like I'm disconnected. I feel like I'm in my head more so than my heart, which is interesting. So we've also got, I am safe in the universe and all life loves and supports me. So that may be the reason why you've moved to your head, not your heart. Maybe it doesn't feel safe for whatever reason. But Venus is wanting to bring in this lovely energy of saying it's safe, it's safe, it's safe, and sending you love. So it says, I breathe in the fullness and richness of life. I observe with joy as life abundantly supports me and supplies me with more good than I can imagine. Wow. So it's quite the journey that you're going, more good than you can imagine. And that's half of the reason why they want you to go into that fog of the moon, is because there's more than if you imagine a certain thing, it's something different, but it's potentially something better, like more good than you can imagine. So, yeah, interesting. It's a fascinating process, but that's why it's, even though there's all these energies that are pulling you around and it can feel quite nebulous here, that's why we've got the write and stay focused. There still are things that need to be completed and finished throughout this whole process. So it may be one of those weeks where it's really hard to concentrate at work or to actually get things finished, but it might require a little bit of extra effort. But the universe is helping you move through this because there's these bigger energies around as well. But ultimately, this feels like a breakthrough as well, which is a transformative breakthrough that could come through this week. So yes, that's it, Pisces. I'd be curious to know how you are experiencing this and how this is resonating. So please leave a comment, and also please share if you think this would help somebody, and like and subscribe. So thanks, Pisces. Look forward to seeing you next time.